Thanks again for tuning into yet another video. We are test riding the Bobber Stage 1. I remember test riding this last year. I thought it was a Stage 2. I think it was a Stage 2 last year. This year it's a Stage 1. So we have, I guess, the exhaust. It doesn't look like it. But we have the intake as a Stage 1 intake. And we have, what is this? A little saddlebag or... Oh, it's got a luggage rack with the, I wonder what's in there, but, yeah, it's a neat little feature. You have the taller bars. I think this has taller bars than in everything else. I think this is like a part off of the catalog as well. These, I don't think these come standard with this bike, so it's gonna have a really aggressive, well, not aggressive as in sport, but as aggressive as, you know, chingon feel to the bike. So this is the Bobber. I think it's the dark chief, right? I think it's the dark horse Bobber. It's got the 116. Yeah, it should be a dark horse. Blacked out components, sweet bars, man. I like the way these look. So let's go ahead and lift this up. We are ready. I just can't get used to seeing the air filter on the left side of the tank. I think it should be on the right side. Just the bike will look 10 times better if it had it, because you have the pipes, you have the air intake all on the right side. I think it would just look 10 times better if that was the case. But these bars, I am liking them. This feels like, it's got that badass feel to it. I like it. I like the bars. These are, I think these are 16, 17 bars. I'm not sure. But you have the laced wheels, or the spoked wheels, whatever you want to call them, belt drive, dual external shocks. Of course, push rods, just like a Harley. Single pin crank as well. So this is pretty much the Street Bob, the competitor of the Street Bob. So let's go ahead and turn this on. Gotta get it on the on position.
All right. You got it powered up. Awesome. Powered up, start, and then this button right here.
Right.
Call it a menu button. I don't know, scrolling button, whatever. That brings up this screen to change your ride mode.
That's right.
Like before, close the throttle, menu button, select your ride modes, and then roll back on the throttle.
Okay.
Just gotta hesitate for a hot second, okay?
Yeah. So it looks like it's in gear.
Okay. Yep. Go ahead and line up.
There we go. All right. So we're ready. We are gonna have to wait for the guide this time. We are on standard. Go ahead and close our visor. Man, these handlebars feel great. It's been a while since I've had ape hangers on any of my bikes. I usually swap them out for risers or a T-bar setup. But these bars feel great. I really like the overall feel of this bike. These are forward controls on the Bobber. Most of the Bobbers have forward controls. The Dark Horse has mid controls. You guys can see the Sport Chief also has mid controls, and I'm the only guy with the forwards. So this is more of a relaxed feel on this one. Definitely more of a relaxed feel on this bike. We have the taller bars. We also have the forward controls. This is a bike that feels like this is a bike that you could cruise quite a bit. But of course, we don't have a windshield. We don't have wind protection or anything like that. So let's go ahead and get going here. Quite nice to have a little guide here. If it was up to me, I would lean these bars a little bit, forward. Right now, my elbows are a little bent, but I mean, this is just something that you could adjust yourself when you're setting up your handlebars. You could adjust them to where you like them. This is really quite comfortable the way I'm sitting. This is like an old school beach cruiser. Just the way, you know, just the way I'm sitting in my triangle position, really relaxed, extremely relaxed with this setup. Of course, no wind protection, and at 50, 40, I'm starting to feel it. I just came off of the Sport Chief, and that fairing was impressive. All right, so a few features on the Dark Horse bobber. 4-gallon tank. Like I said, that could be a con depending on who you are. You'll just have to stop a little bit more frequent, but that gives you an opportunity to take a rest, take a break, because we don't have a windshield or a fairing on this thing. And being at 37 years old, those are, you know, pretty much welcome at my age, where I'm due for a break. We also have, like I said, the blacked out components on this thing. You have a touchscreen ride command, a TFT display, impressive. Of course, you have the keyless ignition, cruise control. So there is cruise control on this. I wonder if there is cruise control on the Sport Chief. I don't know. I don't do my research on these Indians, guys. You also have some Dragon tires, the Night Dragon tires, and a full LED lighting, which is kind of like I mentioned earlier with the turn signals. Oh, you always got to get used to the friction zone on a new bike. This one feels like it needs to be adjusted. It feels like it needs to be adjusted. Just off of the way it feels like, I would say it's a little tight on the clutch on this bike, and that happens. You know, there's these demo events, they get test ridden a lot. As far as, you know, with Harley, I've had the same incidents. Some of the clutch cables are a little too tight, and you're never able to feel the full potential of the bike because it's always riding that clutch. So it had a little bit of a pull. Luckily, I did not stall it. I am an experienced rider, but someone, you know, somebody else, I'm pretty sure that they probably would have stalled the bike. So as far as, you know, it's just the rider, man. The positioning, like I mentioned, it's very relaxed, very relaxed. I'm not cramped up. I'm 5'7", all right. So I mean, being, you know, 5'7" with 4 controls, I'm pretty much, you know, I'm pretty much on the recliner right now. All right. My knees aren't fully extended, but I mean, I think that's because I have my boots on. All right, so I got my boots. I am noticing that my shin is bumping up against a little bit on the intake, but you know what, it's actually, you know, pretty decent. It doesn't really hit it that much. It's just I think just depending on the angle that I'm riding on and stuff like that, I might feel the intake. But that's something that I noticed with the Harleys in 2020 or 2021. But of course, Harley addressed that in 2023. Yeah, 2023, they made the change and they moved that intake a little bit away from your shin. And it was a welcome change. This one, like I said, you can notice it. Maybe if you are a taller rider, maybe if you're closer to 6 feet, that might change. Only because, of course, I have short legs and it's not quite there. But if you're a taller rider, you're going to have more of a bend in your knee, and that might be an issue, you know, rubbing up against the intake. So luckily, this intake is not standard with these bikes. This is an upgrade. This is an add-on, just like the handlebars. That's also a add-on. So let's go ahead and see where the friction zone is at the very end of the lever. So the clutch is a little tight, all right. But man, overall, the styling of the bike, it's nice. The suspension is, you know, quite impressive, but that's probably because of the wheels. You do have 16-inch wheels on this, so you have a little bit more rubber than you do on the Sport Chief. But of course, you do have inverted forks and piggyback shocks on the Sport Chief, so it kind of evens out. That's also another thing that I noted with the Fat Bob and the Lowrider S. The Fat Bob has those fat, beefy tires, and it helped when I was, you know, test riding the Lowrider S and the Fat Bob. I could definitely tell the suspension, or just the comfort of having you know, having a fatter or wider or a bigger tire than, you know, than a wheel or a rim, whatever you want to call it. So we'll probably go over the hand controls in another video. Maybe you guys heard the event coordinator mention how you turn these bikes on, but you know what, man, the bike feels great. I just wish it had a little bit more rumble. I don't know if it has a stage 1 exhaust. It looks like it's stock to me, because I remember riding a stage 2 last year and it had a different exhaust. But like always, these bikes are very impressive on how they feel. They're nimble. The low, you know, the center weight of gravity on these things, it's low, so it feels really great. Stopping power is pretty good. I'm not sure if we're just supposed to blow that stop sign or not entirely sure, but yeah, I mean, it's handling great. Like I said, the suspension is quite impressive. Of course, you have on the soft tails, you have a monoshock. On these bikes, you have external shocks. So you have them on the left and on the right of the bike. You guys can see that on the sport sheet in front of me. So handling, like always, these bikes are nimble. The engineering on these bikes are fantastic. I'm always impressed how light these bikes feel compared to the Harleys. Like I mentioned, I'm always impressed how well they handle and how well they feel for these bikes. Man, that clutch is a little tight. Man, that clutch, it just takes a little used to. So I'm gonna be a little cautious when I have this thing in sport mode, because if that's the way it responds on standard, yeah, this thing's gonna be dangerous in sport mode. So let's go ahead and put that in sport mode. It is loading. Holy man, did not expect that at all. That was a kick. So I don't know what it is. All right, maybe it's the stage 1, but crap, man, I'm speechless. This one feels a lot more aggressive than the Sport Chief. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but I almost fell off the bike. I'm not even gonna lie. I almost fell off the bike again. Shit. Oh no. I gotta stop. I gotta put it on standard, man. That's way more aggressive than on the Sport Chief. I think the settings are different. I believe they altered the ECU on the Sport Chief, because that is a difference of night and day between the standard, or between the sport mode in this and the sport mode in the Sport Chief. That is, I don't think it's a stage 1, or who knows, maybe that's what it is. But the stage 1 on this thing in sport mode, you're gonna get in trouble. I'm not even gonna lie. That's crazy. That's scary. That's scary throttle response. We'll probably put it back in sport mode, but I'm not gonna do it when the clutch cable is tight. All right, it's gonna be disastrous. I'm gonna do a wheelie or something's gonna go wrong. All right, but I could feel it right here. The friction zone is not even engaging, even at 60% of the clutch, right towards the end. Man, oh, I would hate to be the guy on this bike in sport mode with that tight clutch. All right, people are going to get taken back. You have to be extremely careful. All right, here we go. So I don't know, I believe they retweaked the riding modes in the Sport Chief. The Sport Chief is a newer bike. I believe it's a 2023 model. Yes, it's new for this year. So this might still have the same firmware of the 2022, 2021 models, because this is what sport mode felt last year. That one in sport mode, not quite. I'm gonna get back on the Sport Chief. We'll do a take 2 on the Sport Chief. On the black, on the matte or the denim black, I'm not sure what they call it. or what the Indians call it, the Indian motorcycles call their colorway, or their color option, their denim. But yes, man, that's scary. All right, so we have, of course, so there's another Sport Chief in denim, matte black, if you guys don't know what that is. So I'll get on the matte black Sport Chief. We'll give it a try. We'll see if the sport mode, but I'm almost certain they retweak the riding modes in the in the Sport Chief. And you know, I really believe it's a good thing. I know I was saying it's, you know, it's fun and everything, but a lot of the people at these events were complaining about how twitchy the sport mode is, how responsive it is. I don't believe it's a 1-for-1, meaning, you know, throttle to you know, throttle grip to throttle response 1-to-1. I think it's a little bit different, or maybe it's just the touch, the clutch being just a little too tight, and it just gets me by surprise. But whew, I'm having fun. All right, I really like the way these bikes feel. I'm impressed overall. You know, the looks of the bikes, I'm more of a full fender type of guy. You know, all of these Chief models have the chopped fender. You guys can see that on the Sport Chief over there. They're all the same. I also miss the struts, the exterior struts on these bikes. I don't believe Chief Indian ever had the struts on the outside. They have them on the inside because you can only see the bolts. Don't ride on cracks. But you guys can see that. I don't know, I mean, you guys can let me know in the comments, what do you guys think about these aesthetically? What do you guys think about the looks of these Indians with the without the exterior shocks and the chopped fender? Some people, you know, some people like that look. I just really like the full fender look with that tail light in the back. I think it looks really sharp. A little bit more classic, a little bit more let's see, let's go ahead and put this in sport. Oh man, I could already feel it wanting to take off. Oh, I am scared. I am afraid. Man, what gear? Alright, I'm in 3rd gear. Alright, let's go. Man, that is scary. That is scary. Sport mode, 4th gear. And we're cruising on 4th gear. Cruising. Man, this thing has a lot of potential still. Yeah, I'm not even going full throttle on this. I'm doing maybe 20%. That's just how these throttle modes work. All right, like I mentioned in the Sport Chief video, it's a throttle lag ECU thing. All right, so these are throttle by wires. Man, that is just nuts. 4th gear, high speed. This thing is cruising. Of course, we're getting a lot of wind protection, a lot of wind noise. I don't get much buffeting, which is nice. But yes, we are getting some wind noise and a lot of wind. But that just kind of speaks volumes on how well that new Sport Chief fairing is. Man, that's nuts. Sport mode on the bobber, very, very impressive. Throttle response, impressive. Performance, impressive. Suspension, like I mentioned, also impressive. These bikes handle great, and once you compare this bobber to the street bob or the standard, you really are getting your money's worth, I think. You know what? I'm just noticing the MSRP on this thing is $19,500. We have the silver quartz, so this is $20,000. Why is this $20,000? Huh? I'm not too sure. I think this is actually cheaper than the Sport Chief. Why is that? Is it because of the add-ons? I don't think the add-ons make a difference on this. Oh man, that wants to take off. So I think the mirrors are different. I'm gonna put this back on standard before before I'm involved in an accident or something. But yes, we have the bobber, the Chief bobber, Dark Horse at 20,000 bucks. That's pretty expensive. I thought this was a little bit more affordable. Maybe it's just the Dark Horse, or maybe the prices increased. Maybe the prices went up when they saw what Harley was doing with the surcharge and all those other little fees that Harley went ahead and they added. And of course Harley also increased freight charge, all kinds of fees. All right, they increased a lot of the fees. So there's the first impressions of the Indian Chief bobber. Impressive overall. Another little pothole, handled it like a champ. Of course, the suspension's pretty good, but like I said, I really believe it's because of the fatter tires, the bigger wheels on this. So you guys stay out there, stay safe, stay tuned for more demo rides. Life's a risk, get out there and ride. Later.